Today we are going to discuss on the naive-Bayes classifier, and the basic thing that is behind this naive-Bayes classifier is the Bayes theorem. So the formal statement of the Bayes theorem, as you can see, given a hypothesis, if we consider that hypothesis is H and evidence E, then Bayes theorem states that the relationship between the probability of the hypothesis before getting the evidence, which is given by PH, and the probability of the hypothesis after getting the evidence, if that is PH given E, then PH given E is defined as PE given H into P of H divided by PE. Now let us understand each of these terms. So here you can see that this particular term, which is also called the posterior, it is basically the how probable is our hypothesis given the observed evidence. So this particular symbol, as you can see, this is called the given. That means we know that E has occurred, and then what is the probability that this hypothesis will take place. So probability of the hypothesis given that evidence is there, and this is basically the unknown, and we want to find out this using the Bayes theorem. So Bayes theorem tells that this will be equal to probability of E given H, where E is the evidence. That means how probable, this yellow indicates this one, so how probable is the evidence given that our hypothesis is true. So now the thing is just the reverse, that if the hypothesis is known, then what is the probability that particular evidence will take place. So that probability is E given H. And PH is that how probable was our hypothesis before observing the evidence. Okay, whatever be the evidence, whether that is true, false, whatever, in all possible cases, what is the probability of the hypothesis? That is PH, and PE is again without any condition, what is the probability of that particular evidence. So we'll try to understand all these terms and the mathematical calculations with respect to some data set with one example, so that you can understand it well. So specifically in this lecture, we are going to discuss on a particular naive-Bayes category, that is the multinomial naive-Bayes category. So if we only call that it is a naive-Bayes category, most of the cases the people mean it is a multinomial naive-Bayes. But there are other kinds of naive-Bayes also, like a Gaussian naive-Bayes. Okay. Now multinomial naive-Bayes is used in case of discrete data, where different words are there in a sentence to for this, like in case of application like spam filtering and all that, we use naive-Bayes. Multinomial naive-Bayes, this particular category. Let us take one example. So suppose in your emails, you will find there are emails which are the normal emails, and there are some emails which are spam. By spam, what we mean? These are unwanted messages, and that are usually basically scams or unsolicited advertisements. Okay, that is unwanted basically. Now, what is our job? Our job is to, we want to filter out the spam messages from all the mails that we are getting in our inbox. So how can we do that? So with respect to this particular problem, we will try to explain this naive-Bayes classifier. Okay, so here, as you can see, that first thing that what we are going to do, we'll prepare a histogram of all the words that occur in that normal messages. Let us consider these are the normal messages. So in those normal messages, we will first find what are the different words present within each of the mail. Different words. Let us consider that in all these mails we have searched that there are words like dear, friend, lunch, money, like that. Okay. Now you see that we'll prepare a histogram of that first. This is the first thing. So how many times considering all the messages, how many times this dear word is present, that will count. So here you can see total how many times, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. So total 8 times the dear word is there within the normal messages that we have seen. Similarly, how many times friend this particular word is there, how many times lunch is there, how many times money is there, that will observe. Okay, in a similar way, so you can understand there may be many words are there within this email. So all these are will be there, and we will just consider how many number of times. So we'll consider the count of each words that is present. Okay, and we'll prepare a histogram of that. So I hope you have understood that what this histogram is. It is basically the count of each of the words. That's all. Now we can use this histogram to calculate the probabilities of seeing each word, given that it was a normal message. So now what we want to find out, that we want to find out what is the probability of getting the word dear in the normal emails, not in the spam emails. Okay, so what we want to know? We want to know the probability of dear in normal messages. So we know that it is a normal message, then what is the probability that dear word will come there? So that probability we have to find out. How can we do that? It's very simple. Check that how many times the dear word is there considering all these emails. So total from the histogram you can see there are 8 times the dear words appeared. So this is 8. Okay, and in the normal messages, total how many different words are there, that you have to see. And you have seen that if you count all these words, and then you will find that total 17 words are there. So here there are 8 words, here 1 2 3 4 5 8 plus 5 13 13 plus 3 16 16 plus 1 17. So there are total 17 words there in the normal messages. So out of them 8 are dear. So that means the probability of dear, given that it is a normal message, is 8 by 17. Okay, so it is around 0.49. If you do the calculation, it will come around 0.49. So in this way we can calculate the probability of friend. Given that it is a normal message, we can find probability of the word lunch, given that it is a normal message, and money, given that it is a normal message. I think this part is clear. So we can calculate the probabilities of each of these words, given that it is a normal message. Now here you can see this is 4.47. This one is 0.47. This one is 0.29. This one is lunch is 0.18, and the money is, what is the value of money? It's very small, I think, and that's why I don't know why it's written 0, but it will have 1 by 17. Okay, so you can understand that value will be there. Similarly, for the spam, you can do the same. That means for the spam, exactly in a similar way, how many times dear this particular thing is coming in the spam, that you can do. So the dear probability of the dear, given that it is spam, that you can calculate in this way, because in the 2 times this word dear is coming, and that divided by 7, because total 7 words are there considering all the spam. Okay, so in this way we can calculate the probability of each word, either in the normal messages or given that it is a spam messages, that we can find out. Okay, so this is the basic calculation that we can do. Next is what? So now what we are doing, we just write all these things that we have got, that probability of dear, given that n is this and all that, and you by the time understood how we have calculated these values. Clear? Now because we have calculated the probabilities of discrete individual words and not the probabilities of something continuous like weight or height, these probabilities are also called the likelihoods. Sometimes these are also called the likelihoods because these are of some discrete data set, okay, not of some continuous data set. So this is just remembered as a terminology. Sometimes they are used as probability, sometimes they call it likelihood. Okay. Now, suppose our problem, we have got a problem that we have a new message, and that new message only contains these two words. So, dear friend. So, what is the problem we want to solve? We want to solve that whether this particular message is a spam or a normal message. So, this is the problem we have to find out. Okay. Then, what will be the solution technique for that? So, the step by step, try to understand how can we solve this problem, that whether this dear friend, this particular mail is a spam or a normal message. So for that, first what you have to do, you first find out with an initial guess about the probability that any message, regardless of what it says, is a normal message. So what is the probability that it's a normal message? So initially we are considering one hypothesis. What is the hypothesis here? We are considering that dear friend message is a normal message. So this is the hypothesis, that we are considering dear friend is a normal message. So if we consider dear friend is a normal message, then that is the hypothesis. So probability of that we are interested to find out. So probability that it is a normal message. So what will be that probability? Because what are the total number of messages that we'll see, and out of them how many are normal messages we'll see. Here if you count 1 2 3 4 5 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8, total 8 messages which are normal messages. And how many are spam messages? You can see there are 4 messages which are spam. So what is the probability of the normal message? That is very simple, 8 by the total number, that is 8 plus 4. So the probability of the normal messages we can easily find out. Okay. Then this initial guess that we observe a normal message is called the prior probability. This is what is called the prior probability. Okay. What will be the next step? The next step is we will find out what is the probability of dear word, because dear word is one of the word is there in our new message. So first we will consider the dear word. What is the probability of dear in the normal message? So that we have already calculated the probability of dear in the normal message. Okay, then we'll consider the probability of friend in the normal message, that we have also calculated. Okay, so we'll multiply all these 3 quantities. Okay, so if there may be other messages, other words, so all those probabilities exactly in the same way you have to multiply. Okay, so probability of n, that means probability of the normal messages multiplied by this, that you have to do. And if you do this calculation, you will get 0.09. Okay, so this 0.09 is actually proportional to probability of normal message of the particular email, that is dear friend. Given that it is a dear friend, then what is the probability of the normal message? So this is the thing that we have to compare whether it is a spam or not. So we have got 0.09. Okay, so finally, what is this 0.09? We can think that 0.09 as the score that dear friend gets if it is a normal message. Now exactly in a similar way, you find out what is the probability of the spam messages. That is exactly in a similar way, 4, because there are 4 spam divided by the total number of messages in the trained data set, that is 4 plus 8. So in this way you can calculate PS. And again what you do? You do for the dear. So the dear, what is the probability of dear if it is a spam? What is the probability of friend if it is a spam? And if you multiply all these things, you will get the score that dear friend will be there if it is a spam message. And the score that you are getting is 0.01. And in case of if it is a normal message, for that the score was 0.09. So now you just compare these two values, these two scores, and you take the decision that this particular email is a spam or not. So finally, what you are doing, basically you are comparing this value 0.09 and 0.01, and we can see that 0.09 is greater than 0.01. So this dear friend is a normal message. So that is the conclusion. So this is what is the basic idea. Basic idea that how we are using the Bayes theorem to find out the probability that that particular message will be either normal or a spam. And based on that particular score of the probability, we'll take the decision that whether it is a spam or a normal message. Now let's take another example that is a different email. Let us consider that email is lunch, money, 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 money. So 4 times money is there and lunch is there. Okay. And now if you see that in our emails, you will find that the probability of the word money in the normal message is only 0.06, whereas if money is there, the chances that it will be spam. If it is a spam, then and money is there, that its probability is 0.57. So apparently, it seems that this particular email will be a spam, right? Because the probability tells you in that way, because it is 0.57, whereas in a normal message it can be only 0.06. So intuition is telling, looking at these values, at least it is a spam message. Now if we do our calculations as we have done in the last case, then what result we are getting? Let's see. See what we are going to do. We'll find out what is Pn, that means probability of the normal message, exactly in a similar way that we have done earlier. Then what are the words that we'll take one by one? So for the lunch, we'll take this one, probability of lunch, given that it is normal message, so that is 0.18, and 4 times this probability you have to take, because 4 times this money is there. So probability of money given normal message to the power 4. And if you do this calculation, you will get this small number. Okay. Now do the same calculation for the spam. And if you do that, then what you are getting is that spam, then probability of lunch given it is spam into probability of money given it is spam to the power 4. But here this lunch word is in our training data set nowhere there in any of the spam. So if this is the situation, then definitely this probability is 0. See, if this probability, as you can see, this probability is 0, because it is not this particular word is not any one of the spam data in our data set on which we are doing the work. So whatever be this value or whatever be this value, ultimately it will become 0, because one of the term is 0. So now you can see that based on that, if you have to take the decision, then you see that this value is larger, and it predicts basically that lunch, money, 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 money is a normal message. This is not a spam. But definitely you can understand that this is not the correct picture that it is predicting. Okay, so this is a problem. So how can we overcome this problem? And that is why what is done, that to work around this problem, people usually add one count represented by the black box to each word in the histogram. So what you can see in the deer, how many times deer was there? 8 times, right? So what has been done? One extra box has been added. Okay, so what extra box means? Now we will consider that deer is there 9 times. So exactly in a similar way, for each word, corresponding to each word, one extra box or one extra frequency is added. So if you do that for all the words within the messages, then you see that this lunch will no longer be 0, it will be 1. And now you do the same calculation and you see what is the result, because in this way you can avoid that 0 which came earlier with respect to lunch. Okay, so if you do that, this particular, remember this one that you have added, basically it is represented by one of the hyperparameter of the multinomial Naive Bayes, that is called alpha. So in our case, alpha is equal to 1. Why alpha is equal to 1? Because we have added one frequency corresponding to one count corresponding to each word. And then we'll calculate the same that we have done earlier. So now you see that corresponding to the lunch, the probability is no longer 0, it will have some value. And if you do the whole calculation again, exactly in a similar way, you will find now this result is non-zero, and what you are getting that this value is more than this one, which means it will now predict that this is a spam. Okay, so this is what is the fundamental way we use the naive Bayes. Now this is another example where you can see the based on these features like outlook and the unique values of the outlook. You can see it can be sunny, overcast, or the rain. Another feature you see the humidity. It can be high, normal, like that. Another one is the wind speed, say weak, strong, like that. And based on these features, these three features, suppose a decision is to be taken that whether some game, some play will be or not, will be done or not. So that this statistics is there, and based on that you have to create the model so that in future you can predict based on the weather condition that whether the game will be possible or not. So this is the data set, and this is the problem, and we can solve this kind of a problem using the naive Bayes technique. Exactly the similar way, what you have to do, you have to create this kind of a frequency table. So let us consider one of the feature. If we take say outlook, and outlook corresponding to outlook, you first see what are the unique values, the sunny, overcast, and rainy, and then you just count the play corresponding to yes or no. So in this way you just create the frequency table from the given data, and once you will do that, after that you can easily find out the probability. So this is kind of thing that creating that histogram that you have seen in the earlier example. Okay, so that is there in the table form, and then from that table you just create what will be the probability corresponding to each. So what kind of problem will be asked? Maybe at the end the problem that will be asked is like this, that if the situation is suppose the chances of rain is there, humidity is high, and the wind is weak, then you have to take decision whether there will be play or not. Okay, so this is what is the problem. So for that, what you need basically, that you have to find out that what is the total probability of whether game will take place or not. That you can definitely find out, that you take total number of yes and total number of no, because you know that total how many number of yes is there and how many number of no is there out of all, and you find out what is the probability of yes. So this is what is the probability of yes, and similarly what is the probability of no, that you also know. So what you are doing is basically that probability of yes, that multiplied by each of these probability corresponding to yes. That is probability that it will be rain, because that is one of the situation given. Then given that it is yes, probability of high humidity, given that it is yes, probability of weak wind, given that it is yes. And if you multiply all these things, you will get this particular data. Exactly similar what we have done in the earlier situation. Okay, in earlier situation like this rain, high, weak, we were replaced by basically the last example, it was like deer and friend. The two things were there. Exactly in a similar way, you have to find out the probability of yes if it is humidity is high. So those things you can directly calculate it here. What is the probability that corresponding to rain and yes, that is 3 by 10. Okay, total there are 10 yes, out of them 3 yes is for rain, so 3 by 10. So exactly if you can make this kind of a table, that will also help instead of that histogram, and you actually can calculate these two value corresponding to yes and no, and then based on these two you can take a decision that whether the play will be yes or no. So you can see that this value is larger than this one, so definitely the answer will be yes in this case. Okay, so this is the way we can solve. You can also express in the exact probability by considering that yes divided by probability of yes plus no, but it will not going to change if you compare with respect to this course. This will be the same. So practical applications, I have already told you earlier that in a spam filtering application is a very common application where naive Bayes is a kind of a standard, and news article classification, you can see medical diagnosis, face recognition, and object recognition, weather forecasting. There are different kinds of application of the namespace. Now we'll go to the Python coding and we'll see. So first, what you have to do, you create one new notebook and give the name naive-based classifier. As you can see, give the name naive-based classifier, and then mount Google Drive.
सर नोटबुक এর নামটা কি হবে?
Naive-based classifier. Naive-based classifier. Let me execute this one to import drive. Okay, after importing drive, you just load the spam file. Okay, before loading the spam file, better you import PD, otherwise there will be error. Import PD, import pandas as PD.
सर एकदम स्टार्टिंग है.
Just before loading the file, because there you are using a PD, na?
Yes sir.
So just before that you use that.
अच्छा सर माउंट ड्राइव करा है.
So first you mount Google Drive, after that import pandas, and then you read the file. And see that you will get this kind of a table. Please let me know how many of you are getting this result by raising your hand. You mount your drive, after that import pandas, and then pd.read_csv to load the spam file in the notebook. What about others? Okay, I'm waiting. Okay, Anuj Arpan, okay. Okay. So now what is the next job? Next job, definitely you can see in the data, there are something unnamed and all the values are nan there. So you just drop those column, and for that you just use drop NA. But in this case, we want to drop the columns, not the row. So that is why you mention axis is equal to columns. So from the whole data set, you use drop NA. So that will drop all the NA values. But what you want to drop? You want to drop all those columns. And after that, you just see what is your new data set. Okay. So now you see that those columns deleted. Those columns are now deleted, and what is the next thing we want to do? Okay. The next thing that we want to do is that here basically you can understand this category column is actually, let us see what are the different unique values in the category column. So using group by, you just see how many unique values are there, or if the repetition is there, then what is the frequency that he will get if you use group by. So here you can see that in the category column, basically there are two unique values, either ham or spam. Ham indicates the normal messages and spam indicates the spam messages. Okay, so you can see the count that is there in the second column. You see that total 4,825 ham messages or the normal messages are there, and out of them total 747 messages are spam. Okay, and within that ham messages, again unique messages are 4516, and some of the messages are exactly similar. Okay, so similarly that is happening in case of a spam. So that gives you an idea about what is there within the messages. Next is that what you want to make is that definitely we have to convert everything into numbers, that you know, because with only numbers we can do some model. So ham and spam we can replace by 0 and 1, and you know many ways we can do that. One of the ways that we can use the lambda function to do that. So here you see any one of the way you can do. There are many methods in different earlier coding exercise we have done in a different way. Here you see what we are doing. Basically we are creating one extra column, df spam. So we are giving the name of the column as spam, and within that particular column header, what will be there? It will take the data from the category column and then dot apply lambda x. So what will be the value of x or the values within that column? It will take the category each and every one, and it will put 1 if x is equal to spam, and else it will return 0. Okay, so in this way, if it is a spam, it will return 1. If it is not spam, that is ham in our case, it will return 0. So in this way, these things will be replaced. So one extra column that will show this thing. Let us see. Yes, so we can see that one extra column that is added as spam, and it is taking 0 and 1 corresponding to whether it is a spam or not. Clear? So I think up to this much is clear. Then the data preparation part is basically we have to split the data using the train test split method. That is a very standard one. So using train test split, you see that what is given as x and y. So what is x? X is a df dot message. So df dot message is what you can see in the message column. What is there is all these emails. In the message column, all these emails are there. Okay, and in the target, what is there? That is the spam column, 0 and 1. So up to this much, I think all of you have done. Then now tell me, what is the problem now? What is there within df.message? Are these numeric values? No. Then the problem is we have to convert these all email messages into some numbers. So what is the idea? How we can do that? So we know, we have seen what we have to do. From all these messages, we have to extract all the words, each and every word there within that messages. And you can understand there will be maybe more than 1 lakh words will be there, right? So all these words and corresponding to that histogram is to be prepared, right? That means the number of times that particular words is coming. I hope you can understand. So each and every words you have to take, and how many times that word is coming, that is the count of that word, that we can make. So corresponding to each word, there will be some number, the count, that how many times that word is there, that is called the frequency of that word. Okay, so these are numbered. So the whole message is now converted into extraction of the words, and corresponding to each word a number is allotted. And what is that number? That number is basically the frequency, or the number of times that word is repeated in the whole messages. Okay, so that is what is the idea. And for that, what we have to do is that this particular code snippet is very, very important. That is very, very important part. So first of all, you execute that part. That means the splitting of the data. Here you can see that we have not given any information regarding that what should be the splitting criteria. That means the 2080 or 3070. We have not mentioned any test size or the train size. So it will take the default. The default value is test is 25% and 75% is the training. Okay, so by default it will take that if you don't mention anything. Okay, now coming to this one, this particular code snippet is very important. So first of all, from the sklearn feature extraction.txt, you have to import count vectorizer. Count vectorizer actually doing that thing, the number of counts of that particular word. Okay, so this count vectorizer, you have given some name, say v, then count vectorizer v dot fit transform, or only transform you can write also. So fit transform x underscore train dot values. If you do that, then this x train count matrix will be generated. So it will generate that particular matrix corresponding to the count of each and every word. Okay, so if you want to see that how this matrix looks like, so here you will be able to see one of the if you execute this one, you see that the 0 0 0 0 0 1 this kind of a thing will come. That means why the value 0 0 0 indicates that maybe if you consider all these words that is present, considering all the messages, maybe in the first message you will find that most of the word is not there, only 5 or 7 word is there in the first message. So in the first message you will find only few data that will have maybe 1, 2 or 3 this kind of data, and all other values will be zero frequency. Okay, because those words are not there in the first data. So that is why this is of this kind. So you got an idea that what is actually doing. If you just remember the example that I have given during the presentation, and now you see that we will now call this multinomial naive Bayes. ठीक है, multinomial NB. Okay, so you just simply do that. It is very simple. Just import multinomial NB from the sklearn naive Bayes, and then write model is equal to multinomial NB, and using fit method you just fit your x train count. Remember, x train count, that is what are the numeric values, matrix values, not x train data, because x train, remember, in the message it is text data. From that, by using count vectorizer, and finally x train count contains that particular matrix in numeric data. So that is why it is not x train y train, it is x train count, and y train is the numeric data, no problem. So y underscore train. Okay, so now if you do that, now if you execute that, you see that here one of the hyperparameter, as I was mentioned, that alpha is equal to 1 taken. So you know that what is the meaning of alpha is equal to 1. Okay, so your model is now prepared. So finally what you have to do, you have to check whether it is performing well or not. And for that, let us consider, this is one of the email, or the two emails actually there. So two emails actually pass through a list. This is one text, one line, and there is another line. So basically two emails are there. So two elements are there in this list, and we have to predict whether first one is a spam or a second one is a spam or both are spam. So that we have to check. So let us consider this is the thing that we want to check. So what we are doing, all these emails, we are passing through a list and is saved within emails. So emails is now my data where the two emails are there. And after that, what we have to do, remember again, we have to convert it into numeric. Then only we will be able to check with our model. Okay. So what we do, we'll convert v dot transform emails. So v is a count vectorizer dot transform of emails that will do, and that will be within emails underscore count. And then we can predict using model dot predict email count. Okay. So I think I have shared it. Yes. Now you just simply execute. You see that the first one is showing 0. That means the first one is not a spam. But the second one you see is giving 1. That means it is a spam. The second one, second email is a spam. Okay. So finally, what you can find out the model score. So for the model score, here you can see you transform all the text data, so all the test data that was there, the 25% test data that you transform into the counter matrix, and then use that to predict, use that to find out the score of the model. And if you do that, you see that it is coming around 98%. Okay. So in this way, we can solve the problems like spam filtering using the multinomial naive Bayes. Now, I also told you that we can use sklearn pipeline. So pipeline here you can see the basic idea is just sorry. Remember within a text cell you write this one, not in a code cell. In a text cell you write, and then for using the pipeline, what you have to do, you have to import pipeline from the sklearn pipeline.
স্যার sklearn pipeline-টা text cell,
which one?
sklearn pipeline star cell যেটা একদম প্রথমে পাঠিয়েছেন।
Yes. So after
Text
that you paste it in the text cell. Okay.
আচ্ছা আচ্ছা।
Paste it in a text cell, sklearn pipeline, that is the heading basically. Okay. Now you use the pipeline. Now see the code snippet carefully, where you see that let us consider we have given a name that is CLF. So that name can be any name. So now we are defining the pipeline. You see the command, the pipeline. Now within pipeline you are passing a list, and within that list basically what are the different tasks that you are passing one by one. So what are the tasks? The first task is that you take the data and you vectorize first, that using count vectorizer. So that was our first job with the data, and then use the multinomial naive Bayes. Okay, so these are the two tasks that is to be performed. Okay, so that we have considered within a pipeline. Now you see, after defining this pipeline, if we execute, after that what we do, simply we use this particular pipeline that we have given the name CLF. We are writing the code. You see that CLF.feed our data, and now this data is xtrain ytrain. This xtrain, remember, is the text messages. Xtrain is the text messages, but within that pipeline, it is basically first job is to convert it into matrix. So that will be automatically done because you have already defined the pipeline in that way. That will be the first task. And after that, automatically it will apply the naive Bayes. Only this much of command is basically sufficient to fit your model or create your model. So your model is now ready. Okay. So these are the steps that has been done by that, and what are the default values taken, that also has been mentioned here. So finally, you just find out what is the score for that CLF.score. Again, you see that when you are passing this X test, you need not to convert it into the matrix and all that, because within that CLF already the pipeline is defined. So that is what is the advantage of using pipeline. So if you just execute that one, you can see the score is coming around 98%. So you can see that within 2 lines of code using pipeline, you can solve the problem. Definitely before that, up to xtrain, up to 10 test split you have to do, and after that you can use the pipeline and very smoothly you can solve the problem. And finally, to predict the emails, again the emails is there in the text form. To predict that, you can use that exactly in a similar way. Using CLF.predict, and you see that it will give you the result. Okay. So finally, what you have to do, you have to do this exercise where you have to import the wine dataset from the sklearn, and then you have to compare the Gaussian naive Bayes and multinomial multinomial naive Bayes on the dataset, and you have to check that which one is giving the better score. Okay, thank you.